Augmented chords are typically shunned from the three other types of chords in music theory. We don't know how to use you, so stay over there. And that chord is rarely used, so don't even worry about it. But is this true? Did composers such as Mozart or Beethoven ever use these chords? Or did they start being used at the end of the 19th century by such composers as Liszt and Debussy? Well, in fact, Mozart and Beethoven did use augmented chords in their compositions. And not just once. Other composers such as Chopin used augmented chords, for example, in his preludes. So yeah, composers were not shy about using this triad, but did use it for rare or special occasions. And it's important to say that this triad is typically identified as some sort of dominant chord with an appoggiatura. An appoggiatura is simply a non-chord tone that is played with the chord that resolves to a chord tone. So all these examples from Beethoven and Mozart are classified as this. So first, we need to start with what is an augmented chord. So like the other triads we have learned about on this channel, a triad is built by stacking 3 and sometimes more notes by a pattern of major and minor thirds. So augmented is similar to diminished in that diminished chords are built stacking notes together by minor thirds. And so augmented chords are stacked in a series of major thirds. So let's take C as our root. We go up a major third from C to E, and we go up one more major third from E to G sharp. This C to G sharp is where the augmented triad gets its name, from the augmented fifth between these two notes. So now that we have our augmented triad, let's look and see how composers are using this strange yet ear-catching chord. One of the most prominent pieces that gets cited for a composer using an augmented chord, which again is classified as an appoggiatura, is Mozart's Minuet K355. He doesn't play this triad one time, but actually 4 times in the opening 9 bars. So much for rarely used. So in the very first measure, we see Mozart use a G augmented triad. It's on the weak beat in this measure. Surely he doesn't use it on a strong beat, and definitely not forte. Oh, he does. In measure 5, Mozart writes a D augmented triad that resolves to a B minor triad, and then immediately the tonality is rushed away by another chromatic passing tone. And being the good classical composer that he was, hailing from the Enlightenment era, he balances out the phrase by using another augmented triad in measure 7. This time a C augmented triad. This resolves into an A minor chord. He then transitions into a C augmented 6 chord, resolving to a B major triad. And we thought Beethoven was the adventurous one when it came to harmony. Now picture it. It's 1805 in Vienna, and a new rising composer is having their 3rd symphony premiered, Eroica. Described as when music changed forever. Beethoven's use of harmony in this piece goes farther than any other composer of his time and before. At the very beginning of the development section in measure 159, and again in measure 164, Beethoven plays with the harmony and writes an A-flat augmented triad. This chord resolves into a G7 chord. Take a listen. Moving into the mid-19th century, Chopin uses the ambiguous and tense nature of the augmented chord in the climactic peak of his Prelude No. 4 in E minor. In measure 17, he writes a G augmented 7 triad that resolves to the home key E minor. Now, in the beginning of the 20th century, harmony has been stripped from its function, meaning chords no longer resolve and act in a certain manner, and that they are being used for their color and sound. We see such pieces that follow this philosophy like Petrushka, Rite of Spring, and the works of Debussy, to name a few. A great example of this can be found in the first movement of Debussy's Children's Corner, Dr. Gradus ad Parnassus. An ascending A-flat augmented triad rushes up the piano and transitions into a C major triad. A lot of performances showcase this ascending arpeggio by having the pedal held down and letting the harmony blend. Take a listen. So these are a few examples of augmented triads being used in compositional works. I hope this triad can be included in our understanding of music theory and not be shunned from the other chords. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to check out some of our other videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to be up to date with our newest videos. Thank you.